94.9 Mix FM, Greg and Mrs. Grant, as we continue to follow the story out of Manchester, England, with the bombing at the Ariana Grande concert last night. We want to help parents navigate this for our kids.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Kevin Leman, thank you for taking our call. Good morning.
How are you guys?
Well, we're trying to sort this thing out. So we're okay, but we're feeling for families who are worried about their kids this morning, which is why we wanted to talk with you.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, I mean, what do we do in scenarios like this when parents are sending their kids to an event? I mean, most of the people who were killed in this attack were kids. They were young people. And our kids are seeing this kind of news coverage and wanting to live their lives and go do fun things and wanting to increase their freedom. But maybe also scared of doing that. What do we tell them? How do we handle it?
Well, a couple of things. You have to remember that a kid's world is small, okay? It's not the world that you and I live in many ways. No, I'm talking from a psychological standpoint. A kid's world is his home. It's his parents. It's his or her pet, the elementary school they go to. And young children will hear things by way of the news or TV. Don't always be quick, parents, to pounce on that, okay? Kids don't have to know about every tragedy. The point is, when they hear about a tragedy and they're going to ask questions, and again, that's why you're calling me, you have to know what to say. And the first thing you'd say to a kid is, honey, that happened a long way away. That didn't happen in Tucson, Arizona, or in our neighborhood, and sometimes terrible bad things like that happen, okay? But we're okay. You're the psychological blankie for your son or your daughter. And just like a kid loves the mundane, he loves the routine when you tuck him in at night, there's a reason for that, because that essentially says, hey, you're okay, you're safe, we're all together, blah, blah, blah. And so if you can communicate, number one, you're okay, that's great. Now, you talk about kids that are older kids that are going to anywhere. I don't care if it's a U of A football game or a basketball game. We try to teach people today, hey, if you see something that isn't right, that doesn't seem right, report it. And that kind of vigilance on the part of older kids and all of us as adults helps us for sure in general. And the other thing is, when situations come up like this, and you're going to have a discussion with your kids, broaden the discussion. Broaden the discussion is to, hey, honey, when you're out with a bunch of kids at a party, and all of a sudden you get that feeling inside that something is about to happen and it's not good, get out, get away, call me, okay? That kind of thing, that little trigger inside of us that says, uh-oh. And I think most of us have experienced that little uh-oh. Teach your kids that.
Listen to those instincts.
Yes, and, for the older kids, hey, you're at a party and somebody's chugging a fifth of vodka or bourbon, call 911. Chances are they're going to die.
Yeah, alcohol poisoning.
Yes, so I think just trying not to overreact and scare your kids and give comfort is my advice, but also be a streetwise parent and make sure your kids are streetwise, because bad things happen to good people in this world.
It's kind of an opportunity to prepare them for circumstances that they may find themselves in that may not be as scary as what happened last night in Manchester, but there are going to be those situations that come up where they're going to need to know, what do I do?
But, Greg, they are life-changing, and that's the whole point. And so that's why I say make any kind of a tragedy that you hear about where the kids are asking you. Now, again, parent, you don't go to your 9-year-old and say, let me tell you what happened in Manchester, England yesterday. Right. The kids get enough negativity and enough horror in their life without adding to it. I'm responding to, hey, when the parent says, or when a child says to a parent, Mommy, what happened? I'm afraid. Now, again, keep in mind you're the psychological blankie for that kid. Okay, parent, you're on, and that's your job.
Okay, so you're supposed to make them feel safe and secure and use that as a teaching moment.
Yes, because when they're asking that question, guess what? They are safe.
That's right.
They're as safe as you can make them as a parent. And we'd all take a bullet for our kid, let's face it.
Oh, no doubt.
life isn't always easy, but as a parent, you just can't stick your head in the sand. And I like the idea of preparing kids for other things that directly affect their life on a daily basis off of a tragedy that happens.
And when it comes to that, if we're preparing, then that means we can still go out and live our lives, right? We don't have to hide in place and not do the things that we want to do.
Yeah. Do you remember the days when we used to put little kids' pictures on milk cartons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that a good idea? I don't know. See, I think there's little Buford, 5 years old, staring at pictures of little kids, and he asks the questions, well, Mommy, who was, and then Mommy goes into that little kid was taken from their home or taken, it's overload sometimes is what I'm saying.
Where exactly did you grow up that you had little Buford?
Little Buford and Festus were imaginary friends of mine.
This explains a
and
lot.
might still be. Dr. Kevin Leman, we can't thank you enough for taking a few minutes to answer our questions and help us feel a little bit better about this thing this week.
Well, I hope so. It sure is a tragedy, but it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Thanks for making the time for me. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you.
94.9 Mix FM.